What's up, everybody? This episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast is brought to you by Policy Genius. Look, there's never a bad time to save money, but now more than ever, finding smart ways to put some cash back in your pocket can make a big difference. One way to do that is simply to save on the things you already have to pay for, like home insurance. If you own a home, reshopping your home insurance rates with Policy Genius could save you a good chunk of change. And the best part is, you barely need to lift a finger to do it. First, just head over to policygenius.com, answer a few quick questions about yourself and your property. Then Policy Genius will compare your policy against options from top insurers to make sure you're getting the right home insurance coverage at the best possible price. If Policy Genius finds you a better rate than what you're currently paying, they'll do all the work to get you switched. Own a car too? Policy Genius will compare your home and auto policies across different insurers and even mix and match to find you savings. They save their customers an average of $1,127 per year doing just that. So if you'd like to put a little cash back in your pocket right now, see how much you can save by reshopping your home insurance rates at policygenius.com. We're also brought to you by Roman. You know what Roman is? It's for your dick. That's right. That's right. Anyone who's dealt with erectile dysfunction knows how awkward it can be to talk about in person. Luckily, there's a simple, convenient solution to get the treatment you need without leaving the couch. Our friends at Roman have spent years building a digital platform that connects you with a doctor licensed in your state, all from the comfort of your home. Roman makes it convenient to get the treatment you need right from your house. Grab your phone or computer, complete a free online visit, and you'll hear back from a U.S. licensed physician within 24 hours. If the doctor decides the treatment is right for you, your medication can be shipped right to your door with free 2-day shipping. You get unlimited follow-ups with your doctor anytime you've got questions or want to adjust your treatment plan. With Roman, there's no commitments, cancel at any time. So if you're struggling with ED, stay home and go to getroman.com/tire for a free online visit and 2-day shipping. That's getroman.com/tire for a free online visit and 2-day shipping. Last but certainly not least, we are brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-belt grooming. Now that your thing is all Roman and standing, make it look good. Manscaped offers precision engineered tools for your family jewels. It rhymes, folks. Tools for the jewels. They obsess over the technology developments to provide you the best tools for your grooming experience. That's why Manscaped has redesigned the electric trimmer. Guys, look at me. Been through trimmers. I know how this goes. You can really hurt yourself by putting the wrong trimmer in the wrong place. I'm serious. You can do this. That's why the team at Manscaped spent 18 months perfecting the greatest ball hair trimmer ever created. They just released the new and improved Lawnmower 3.0. What a phenomenal name for a phenomenal product. The third generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce manscaping accidents, thanks to Manscaped's advanced skin-safe technology. When I tell you this is premium, I mean premium. The battery will last up to 90 minutes, so you take a longer shave. Even if you really relax, you're talking about like 10 to 15 ball shaves here. The water-resistant technology allows you to do it in the shower. How do you not love that, guys? And it's got an LED light, which illuminates grooming areas like a pair of HIDs on the car for a closer, more precise trim. Here is the deal. 20% off and free shipping with code TIRE at manscaped.com. Your balls will thank you. That's 20% off and free shipping with code TIRE at manscaped.com. Manscaped.com, code TIRE. There it is. On this episode of the podcast, Zack and I are stranded in my living room again. We talk about the Shelby GT500, the John Cooper Works Mini, the Ducati Scrambler I'm riding, and probably some more things that I can't remember right now because of whiskey. It's the Smoking Tire Podcast, Stranded at Matt's House edition. Back in the crib.
Yep. House show.
House show, Smoking Tire Podcast. We're adrift on the sea.
Is it? Yes.
Without a home, without a studio yet. Today's Monday.
Navigating by GoPro.
The fire inspection that was supposed to be 2 weeks ago is actually tomorrow at 10 a.m. By the time you're listening to this show, the fire inspector will probably have already been there.
You'll either be in a great mood or a terrible mood.
Yeah, but you won't know on Twitter. I'll keep it off Twitter. Don't worry. And so I was making things ship shape over there earlier, and but we need this one signed thing to have a studio, and we don't have it yet. So
it's like getting the wings on the plane.
And we're like it's like so back to square one. It's like, okay, we have to put a blanket down. Okay, we have to like lower the shade. Like it's like, oh, we're so shanty. And people have been supportive. They're like, we don't care if you're shanty. We just want to hear you talk. And other people, I can just tell in their cars are rolling their eyes like, ugh, they in the fucking studio yet? This is terrible.
I know, we're so used to using the good mics, and so I kind of forgot about like sound reverberation off of tabletops and windows and stuff.
If we were making YouTube videos, these would be the good mics.
That's true. People are like, wow, labs. That's
these
true.
These are the good mics. Talking about YouTube videos. I did just listen to an episode of The Dollop that was clearly recorded over Zoom. And definitely it was affected, but it was also listenable. Mm-hmm. It wasn't not listenable.
It's not. I mean, ultimately the content is what's important.
I feel like coronavirus is making people accept some shitty audio quality in exchange for just having people continue to work.
Have you ever seen photos of the Dollop when they do the normal show, not a live show? It's not fancy. They do it like at Gareth's house, sitting on chairs with a little box between them, and they hold the microphones.
Yeah.
And their show is gigantic.
Yeah.
It doesn't look
the
like
mics
anything.
don't make the show. I know. But the mics can ruin the show.
That's right. They can unmake the show.
They can make the show terrible. So we're doing our best, people. The YouTube channel, the Smoking Tire Podcast YouTube channel is doing well. 15,000 subscribers. This is good. We were enabled the monetization, which it's not so much about putting ads in front of videos as it is about if you want to do live with Super Chat, you need that.
And if we want to load the money gun, we needed more money.
Yeah. Do you have a money gun? Did we buy a money gun?
You didn't buy a money gun?
Is that?
Once we lost the channel, I bought a money gun immediately.
There was a mysterious charge on the MX. Is that what that was?
Yeah. $12 probably.
I mean, when I saw moneyguns.com, I really thought it was like a workout video. Like,
that's very good.
Subscribe to some sort of a program.
It's Billy Blanks.
Well, yeah, all the trainers are virtual now, so moneyguns.com.
That's so true.
Have we taken that joke far enough yet? I got to really make sure Hannah likes this blanket a lot, and we're using it as a coaster. It's awful. I mean, we're taking some risks. We're taking some risks in this one.
I mean, to be fair, it spent a lot of time on the back of two chairs. Like I haven't seen it move. I haven't seen it move. I'm trying to say I don't know how often is it used for blanketing.
Fucking frequently.
Oh, okay. Then it's folded perfectly.
Being in the back of a chair is exactly where a blanket goes. That's like the on deck of blanketing.
When I picked it up, I half expected it to be so did the chair because they were both so evenly placed on these chairs. Like
when you go to the Lucky Brand store at the mall and you go, oh, there's a mannequin with it's got a blazer and then a hoodie on, and then you go to the rack and you realize that's a blazer with a hoodie collar in it, isn't it?
It's just a hood. Yeah, which is weird. I feel like there's something not okay about that.
That was what was that? There was a meme. I guess it was probably 2 or 3 years ago at this point, but it was J. Crew or one of like the super white brands that was doing the blazer with the hoodie sewn into it. It was the Tyrone Bigham's crackhead outfit. It was the exact Tyrone,
like the tan jacket
with the red hoodie inside it. It was a kind of beat up hoodie, like the exact Tyrone Bigham.
You know what's dumb about that is the whole point of the blazer with the hoodie was because you were cold and you didn't have a warm, fancy jacket. Because I used to do that, and now you have the same cold. Like, you're going to be cold, you're just wearing a blazer, and now you have a hood for style? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah. Just wear a blazer.
No, it turns out, like, it's fashionable. It's fashionable now.
That's so stupid. That was something that was born out of being cold, and now it's like, it looks good. Like, yeah, but if you wear that one, you're cold.
When I lived in New York City, it was a very common look, mid-2000s, to go hoodie with, like, a pea coat. Over it, not like a blazer, but like one of them 3/4 joints. Yeah, that jacket, you got to have a really good one of those when you live in New York. It's super functional. it has not left the closet once since it's been here. It's just been collecting dust in the back corner. The problem with those kind of jackets, when you live somewhere warm, you can't have a heavy winter coat. Because anytime you go somewhere, I don't want to carry that thing. Like, it needs its own suitcase.
It does, like 8 pounds.
You can only have like really light winter coats here now.
Remember when you bought the Morgan coat, which is exquisite and a great purchase? And like 5 years later, I was like, how often you worn that coat? And you looked like, never.
So, right.
Which is unfortunate because you don't travel to Norway very often.
When I said never, I mean,
I know.
Literally never. I wore it one time. It weighs like 24 pounds.
It's bulletproof, I think.
20 pounds. It's so heavy. And I brought it to my parents' house in New York because I was like, maybe if it's already there, then if I go visit and it's cold, then I'll have it.
They use it to insulate the house, I think.
And my dad saw it, and he was like, this is fabulous. I love it, but I hate the Morgan logo. And I was like, why, Dad? Morgans are so cool. And he's like, I don't want to wear some logo thing. So he went to a custom shop and brought the jacket, and they copied it exactly. And he made a copy that just doesn't have.
Has he worn it at least? Because he's in the East Coast?
It took so long to make. It took like 8 months.
It was summer when it was done.
That it was summer, and then by the time he got to where, he'd put on a couple pounds, it didn't really fit.
Jeez, he needs to send it to someone in Siberia. Like, send it to the happy people of the taiga.
I want to see if there's a picture of the Morgan.
It's a nice jacket.
Yeah, here it is. The Morgan Shearling bomber, sheepskin bomber jacket.
It's very fluffy. It's like thick.
It's so
inches
fluffy.
Thick.
And here,
I think you need to go in the I did right. Yeah.
And
wow, that looks like me if I was an even bigger asshole.
Right. And I bought it, and it was so luscious and beautiful, and I was so warm that day. And I have never worn it since.
That guy looks like the bad dude in an after-school special who like takes the girl out and then tries to get her to drink a beer, and they're like, "Don't hang out with
British
Todd."
Andrew Keegan, basically.
Who's Andrew Keegan?
Andrew Keegan is the dickhead from 10 Things I Hate About You. He's like driving an F-body convertible.
Yeah.
He's the bully kid in Camp Nowhere. He also started a cult around the corner. You don't know this one?
No, but I know the face.
Well, you'd know the face if you saw the face. Anyone who's in their late 20s to early 40s, when you Google the guy's face, you know what I'm saying. But you don't know about the cult.
No, I do not know about the cult.
So he started a cult around the corner from here, at Rose and like across the street from Rose Cafe.
Yeah.
They bought an old church or rented an old church. It was called Full Circle. They remember the sign, Full Circle?
Yeah.
That was the Andrew Keegan cult.
Fuck.
They got kicked out. They're not there anymore. They literally, someone chained the doors up on them one day.
What were they doing that
I don't know.
warranted that?
Full circling.
Nothing good.
It was probably the cult of like everybody has sex with Andrew Keegan.
That's what all cults are. That's what they are.
It's weird.
That's
I met
amazing.
that dude at the Whaler one night. Drunk. Real drunk. He was wearing a number of scarves that was like 3 times Alex Roy or 40% of Steven Tyler.
Right.
Like a real
like
heavy
Steven Tyler's
duty
mic stand.
heavy duty. He was dressed like Steven Tyler's mic stand. He was wearing a lot of scarves. But yeah, he started a cult.
Oh my God! Yeah, he is the leader of his own cult. Interesting. Or community, depending on what.
Community.
Yeah. That's the glass half full.
Right. How crazy is that?
Wow. Weird. Very weird.
So. Anyway, that's what's going on in Venice. 4th of July weekend. It's now the end of 4th of July weekend. The beach was empty. You see my Instagram? Mm-hmm. I posted a picture of 0 people on the beach. I've never seen anything like that.
It was the quietest 4th of July I can remember in terms of like, no one was out. Like I drove to the canyons to go for a hike. The parking lot was 30% full. There was no one on the road. There was no one on Highway 1. It was odd. And then, of course, at nighttime, fireworks like crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I did go to COVID and Coffee at Bill's, which is what me and Spiker
It's brilliant. I saw that. It's genius.
People behave. People wear masks and shit. It's good. It's all right. It's pretty spread out, I think. It's become a very good car show, actually. Yeah. Like, obviously Bruce Meyer who has grown this amazing Tom Selleck meets. It's like a handle. Yeah, like Bruce has got like a Wyatt Earp mustache.
Do you remember him in the 70s? Go to his Instagram.
Yeah, it's
he returned.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has like a detective in the 70s who's, like drinking testosterone and whiskey and carries a 44 Magnum.
Right.
Like that's what he had in the 70s.
Right, like he was the singer from the band in Almost Famous.
Right.
Basically.
Yeah. He was a Creedence Clearwater roadie.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
He sang Fever Dog.
Dude, his mustache is like this.
Dude, but he
so
rolled
tall.
up
That's
in
awesome.
the Roof Yellowbird.
Yeah.
The Roof Yellowbird.
From the top speed
The
test
one that did 211, and he rolled up with the bandana, because his mask, he fucks with a red bandana like a cowboy. So he rolled up with his mask and his mustache like such a gangster, parked it up front, and I was like, well, this car show is now over. Nice thing. But, he's the
coolest guy.
I'm going to ask him to drive it. I've decided that, because I don't, I don't ask people to drive things. If they offer, then we talk. But, like, I'm gonna have to ask him.
I bet he's put
can't
miles
not
on it.
ask him to drive it. Oh, he doesn't give a shit.
No, because he drives everything. He
doesn't
dailied a Cobra.
Yeah, he doesn't care about the miles of anything. But I don't
So
know.
cool.
I feel like we might be on that level. Like, I think we're pretty. We hang out at these things now. I think we might be on the level where I could ask him to drive
I think
that.
so. He was a very nice guy. When he came
not
on the
like
show,
driving a 58 TR. It's like it's a 911. It's just a really fast special one.
I think he'd be fine with it. I really do.
He said he dyno tuned it. It's making 600.
At the fucking wheels? Are you serious?
Yeah, he said it's insane.
What was it making before it was tuned?
He said they
580?
advertised 450.
And it was over that?
He said it's what it was. It's running correctly, he said.
So all he did was tune it
Yeah.
with modern software,
A little bit
theoretically.
of here and there.
Like a downpour.
Nothing
600
special.
at the
600
wheels?
horsepower.
Jeez. That guy must be able to wheel, man. He's driven some really heavy shit, like,
Yeah,
all
if
the
you
time.
can drive that kind of stuff and not have any major injuries and crashes. We didn't ask him if he ever crashed anything, did we?
We didn't.
Next time
He didn't
around,
mention it.
Make a note. Did Bruce crash?
Because he was driving big power stuff back when bias ply was, like, around
Yeah.
every wheel. And that's
Yeah.
not easy.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine driving a 427 Cobra with shitty tires?
Yeah.
Like, from the 60s? It's like driving on plastic.
Well, he's on Magnus in the Canyons. He was on a 75 turbo on slicks.
Yeah. Wait, wasn't he? He was like, no, those are drag radials or something. Those are
Hoosiers.
Those are Hoosiers. Like, right.
Yes, those are slicks.
Yeah.
What we're starting to see out and about too, which is really funny, and it gets everybody for 5 minutes, is couple of Ford versus Ferrari prop cars.
Oh, they sold a bunch of those.
Couple of these little fakey Porsche 906s and fakey 917s we've seen like running around.
Dude, those sold
pretty
for
funny.
6 figures.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It was crazy.
They're hilarious looking. They
were really cool
for
looking.
30 seconds, they look like they're worth
Yeah, they did.
millions of dollars.
Yeah.
If you look at the interior, you go, that's
car.
not right.
Yeah, people bought those for like $100,000 to $200,000, and they were the prop cars. And then and some of them have really good shapes, but movie cars inside look different.
Yeah, and I don't know what the chassis are made of. If it's
Right.
just some weird tube chassis thing, or who knows? I don't even know. But almost everybody was like, "Whoa, is that a?" Oh,
Do you remember they had R34 Skylines in movie cars in one of the Fast and Furious, and one of the prop cars was a rear-engined car with a Subaru engine in the trunk. It was like a
Why
car
would they
they were
do
going
that?
to jump or something,
Oh.
and so that the weight would be in the back. But it was like,
interesting.
could you imagine buying that movie car and
Yeah,
you're like,
it's
hey, R34
terrible.
Skyline, you're like, the engine's in the fucking back, dude. It sounds like a Beetle.
Like that Grand National that was built to go in reverse.
What?
They built a Grand National. There's a scene in Fast 4. One of the I think it's Fast 4, right?
They needed to go fast and reverse.
Fast, Furious, Grand, Reverse. I think it's Fast 4, but there's a whole thing where they have basically an entire car chase with a Grand National that's going in reverse.
Got it.
That right?
And it needed to be...
At this point during the scene, it's catching up to the thing, but this chase ends with the Grand National going very fast in reverse, faster than one could drive in reverse.
Right.
And so they took a car, and I don't even know if it was almost certainly not a Grand National, but they just spun the body around so that in the
cool.
inside.
That's really cool, man.
That's like some Speedy Cop shit.
Yeah, and he would race in reverse.
Yeah. Well, he had the upside down Camaro. I think
Right.
they kept. Last I heard about the upside-down Camaro was that Speedy Cop tried as many times as one could feasibly try to road register it, and it could not happen.
For you that don't know and you're listening, we'll put the visual up, but Speedy Cop is a guy that races in lemons, and he always builds crazy creations. Like, he raced a Cessna plane with no wings once, bolted to a car chassis, but he took a F-body Camaro and then flipped the body upside down, bolted it back to the frame, and then raced a full 24-hour race with a body that was upside down.
It's amazing, and
he's a genius.
I've got some up. We've got the upside-down F-body Camaro.
So good!
We've got the sideways Volkswagen microbus.
I never saw that before. I never saw that.
Here, we've got...
this guy is brilliant.
Here we've got the pop-top camper that drives itself, which is hilarious. This is the helicopter. That's a race car. It's a helicopter.
Wow.
And then, of course, the Spirit of Lemons, which is a real airplane turned into a car.
Was that the first one he did?
No, I think the upside-down Camaro was first. But the helicopter and the Spirit of Lemons are both street legal. So here's him. Here's him racing it, and then he drives it. Oh, he's got a pacer that he put two backs together to make a fishbowl.
This guy's a genius.
It's just really, really fun.
Speedy
stuff.
Cop, if you're listening, we would love to have you on the podcast because holy shit.
I went back and forth with the dude a couple times. He was extremely cool, as you can imagine someone who does this kind of shit would be. Oh, here's the inside of it's a Volkswagen Cabrio with a body put around it.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely
So all of
brilliant.
his builds are like right side up vehicles inside of sort of these outer kind of facade.
Yeah. It's a Trojan horse Western movie set kind of thing.
I invited him to come on the show, and he put all these cars together. That's fucking fantastic.
Dude, that's so cool.
And I invited him, but that was that's bullshit. That's gone very badly. This was pre-coronavirus, and so he had no plans to be in LA, and so now we could get him on the Zoom, and
we should do that.
We should
definitely do that.
That seems easy because he lives in like Maryland, DC, somewhere.
Somewhere where you can register a plane with no wings.
Yeah, I mean, just somewhere far from here.
So awesome. What a genius, dude.
But
that's what makes lemons great. That really is. Like, some people just go ham like that.
Oh, he raced a family truckster. He built a family truckster that's pretty cool. All right. And then what the fuck is that? Oh, that's not Speedy Cop. That's just a dragster on top of a Cadillac.
Also a great idea.
Sometimes you got to do that.
If you have never been to Lemons and it's nearby you, you should go and just watch. Just like walk around the paddock for 2 hours and have a good time.
We'll get a hold of him.
What is the fastest you've driven in reverse?
Now, that's an interesting thought. The fastest I've driven in reverse. I think I topped something out in reverse doing something for Drive or... I don't know, some silly thing for a TV show we've done. Show? I feel like it's in the low 50s, maybe.
Sounds right.
Low to mid 50s. I have a recollection. Remember when fucking Adam Carolla housed Neil Mann's Bentley?
It was a different person that did it, but
did Dan Neil do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought. Carolla did the thing where he put it on a. It was a bit where we were trying to get the best fuel economy.
Right.
Or
and he just
something
put it on
like that.
A trailer or something.
And I think he just put it on a lift and just air spun the wheels. And then Dan Neil was trying to trick the odometer by driving in reverse.
Yeah,
it was in a Bentley GT, and it was the executive producer's personal Bentley GT. And we learned very quickly that if you drive in reverse for more than a couple minutes, when it's 100 degrees out, the air conditioning going, and we're talking high speed in reverse, right? He was going pretty quick. You will actually overheat that engine.
Right, because the air is supposed to go in the front.
It's supposed to go one way.
This is not
Turns
a drift
out cars are not designed to go in reverse for extended periods of time.
That was so fun. And none of us knew because the runway was 3 miles long, and he was way down at the end. We're just like, oh, that was really funny.
Hey, Nikki, you want to come up? Maybe Nikki will join us.
I was filming a thing for Kia, and we were resetting back to one. It was me and the precision driver, and he was driving a GTS, and we decided we're just driving backwards.
A Cayenne GTS?
Kia Stinger GTS.
Oh, sorry, Kia. Yeah, Stinger GTS.
So we just both started accelerating in reverse, and he starts going faster and faster, and he was like, there's no limiter on this car, and he's going like 55 in reverse. It will just take it to red line, and then he let back off. But that's really
so
fast.
Interesting
backwards.
about reverses because like, it's geared in a really strange way, right? Because it's got to be geared so that your idle creep is kind of the right speed.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
I think it's geared gently, so
Right.
like you can't.
Hey, Nikki, would
it
you
can't
to
be
come
like
hang out?
first gear where you bump the gas and then suddenly you hit the car behind
Right.
you.
Gently is the right thing, but also nobody ever takes a car above idle speed in reverse. Like whoever,
No.
except in like a fucking gangster movie, who's
Right.
ever doing that? And so you find out really funny things when you try that. Like, oh, there's no limiter, and if you red line reverse, it's like, what was in the Crown Vic, like 60?
That would make sense because it was a four. You know what it feels like? It feels like reverse is second gear.
Right.
In every car.
Right.
It's like it's second gear.
It just came to me when I topped out a car in reverse. It was a Porsche Cayenne Turbo. It was a press car. It was for something we were doing on the car show, and it was at Willow Springs.
Right.
And it was a ridiculously high number.
Yeah,
like it might have been over 60.
Yeah, you did Turbo S versus X5M.
Oh,
and it was
yeah.
you and I think Corolla comparing fast SUVs.
It
You guys
was,
were hot
yeah.
lapping. Yeah. Jeez.
It was 60 plus.
That's so, and it's really, you got to be very careful with the
Twitchy.
wheel.
Very
twitchy.
twitchy
Because like a shopping cart, if you move that wheel 1
Yeah.
degree at that speed, like that front's coming around immediately.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
J-turns are not difficult. They get easier the higher the speed is. Tanner Faust is like, no, they don't. But yeah, the initiation gets a lot easier. If you're going slow, you need to do like, the Scandinavian flick in reverse.
So, cars.
Continuing with cars.
Well, I spent a week with a Shelby
Oh, yeah.
GT500. You spent a week with the first Mini to have over 300 horsepower.
Yeah.
The hilarious body kit on it.
Yes, indeed.
You want to start there?
Sure.
Let's start on Mini. Let me go back to your profile.
Find the.
When this motherfucker rolled up to the crib, I was dying.
It does not look the wheel. So for people that are listening, like it has these spats on it, or like
This is the Mini John Cooper Works GP.
GP.
Yeah, which is the ultimate Mini nerds Mini.
it is, and it's to its credit, it has 75 more horsepower than the John Cooper Works regular, and 5 more foot-pounds of torque, which is like
That's a lot.
like
Does it have like intercooler? What does it have?
It's got
Bunch
a
of
more
shit?
boost, like different internals, different oil cooler,
Different
like
internals?
like
Oh.
they just crank everything up a bit.
Nice.
But that's a huge jump for 2 little letters. It's
Yeah.
not like a gimmick trim, but
And in previous iterations, the GP didn't have much more power.
it didn't.
The GP would have like 10 more horsepower.
Yeah.
And it was all about weight reduction and limited, bullshit.
Which they still do here. They stiffen it. It's got stiffer bushings. It has rear seat delete, so it has a cross brace instead. It has way more negative camber. I mean, it has all those things the old GPs had, but they just crank the power up a ton. It's the same engine you get in the M235i, like super boosted 2-liter.
Wait. No, the M230i? M230. 230.
I read 235, which I know they used to be an inline
Oh, did
6.
they change the name?
I think they changed.
It's a
the name.
235 is a 4-cylinder now?
Yeah,
And you had to get the 40 to be it?
yeah, to get the inline 6.
Really? Oh, they're getting sneaky.
Yes.
I didn't know that. It's probably my job to know that. Actually,
There's
I can't
so many
keep up with
things.
this. I
Yeah,
have
it's the same one as the
Really?
M235i Grand Coupe, which is
Oh,
300
you know
horsepower,
what? I'm
332
sorry.
torque.
It's you know why? Because because the 2 Series is the front wheel drive now. That's why I.
Well,
that's why I
35
brain
used to
farted.
be inline 6, 335.
No, an
Used to be all
M2
those
is a
things.
rear wheel drive car, and so
Right.
yeah.
If they
2
named the
Series
cars-
is front wheel drive now, people. They did a bad thing there.
If they named the cars Steve, John, Leslie, we would remember these things, but there's just too many.
The 235 went from a rear wheel drive car to a front wheel drive
Yeah.
car. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm on the same page. So yes, it's a boosted 2-liter transverse.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have huge power, automatic transmission. I mean,
It's got a real big wing. It's got a real big wing.
the wing is not the most ridiculous thing about the aesthetics of this car. It is a huge wing. It looks like an aftermarket thing. It has a little cutout for the antenna, which is very funny because like all the tech in this 2021, but the antenna is still an old school
Still
wire,
going.
so it has to have a gap that it goes in.
Right.
Like it's like
Down
a
the
G, it's like
middle
a
of the wing?
G-string that goes down the
Do
middle
you
of the
see
wing.
anything? Oh.
No, but I took
Oh,
a
no,
photo earlier today.
We'll show it in the video
Show it in
review
the
of the
video.
car.
But the big thing, like, so it's fast as hell. Like, it's really fast. It's 300 horsepower, and it's 2,600 pounds. Like, it's fucking quick.
Oh yeah, that's like our Fiesta ST back in the day. I think even more power.
It's like that.
Yeah.
So take that, but don't give it the suspension softness you enjoy. And I think the steering, this seems to torque steer in the corners more. Like mid-corner, you get on the gas, and you feel it tugging. And it's electric steering, I believe. I need to look that up, but it feels electric, so you're not as connected as you once were. But it still has like the mania to it, so it's a weird thing to drive fast.
Is it fun?
It's fun. It's fun and exciting, but I think
dual
it feels
clutch?
too serious. No, it's just automatic. It's
Torque
automatic.
converter auto.
Yeah, which
that's a real problem.
It's kind of weird. It's pretty quick, but on downshifts, the gauge downshifts before the transmission.
You see, this is one of these things where one of the problems, when they started talking about, so I believe the first production car with a digital tach was the Lexus LFA, because the engine because a needle couldn't keep up because it revved so fast. And I try to not be much of a slippery slope conspiracy theorist, because like John Oliver says, it's like, well, where is it going to end? Somewhere. John, that's my favorite thing John Oliver said in the last 6 months. Where is it going to end? Somewhere. It ends somewhere. Anyway, this is what I was concerned about, where you can fake the engine revving faster than it does by having a digital, an optimistic tachometer.
And I thought I was being a jerk, and then I watched it. It was in GP mode, and I downshift, and I watched the needle jump, and then I feel it. Like it's a very noticeable delay compared to PDK or even like the fast ZF boxes.
Yeah.
This is an 8-speed made by Aisin, A-I-S-I-N. And
Well, they do a good job in Lexus vehicles.
They do?
The ISF and GSF, all those, LC500.
Those are all rear-wheel drive.
That's
Maybe this is a
Aisin.
front-wheel drive
Different,
situation.
might be different gearbox.
different box, different programming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
That's
it's
unfortunate.
quick and stuff, but that's a little bit of a bummer. And then the thing around the wheels, like this car is wider by 40 millimeters than the JCW, the regular John Cooper Works. So they needed fender flares, and they got creative with the fender flares. But to me, it looks like when you pull a TV out of a box and it has the styrofoam around it to keep it vertical, like so it doesn't tip over. Like I feel like this has packing material around it to keep it in the box.
Yeah, it's Zack's photographs on his Instagram. Let me just get another picture of it from from a 45-degree angle, because your pictures are lovely, but they don't do it real justice. JCW GP. At a 45-degree. Okay, here we go. Here at a 45-degree angle. It looks like a crazy, like Japanese kind of like super GT, toge battle kind of car. Like it's just, these things are just like sticking off it.
Yeah,
And air goes in between them. And then this one has this funky, strange cutout for the fuel cap.
Right.
It's really just kind of strange.
You know what it's like?
looking.
It's like when people put a wide body kit on their car, but they don't cut the other fenders off underneath them, right? Have you seen that with like drift cars and stuff? So it's kind of like that, where there's like this weird vertical skin that goes
Cost me
around it.
a lot of money on the Fox body to do that. To have
Is it
the
real fender?
With the Fox body, what was interesting about, because it had the rivets, and the rivets were real rivets, but there was more holding the over fenders on than just those rivets. The rivets were a style choice.
Got it.
As opposed to the blend. I didn't want the blend. I wanted you to know there was an over fender on it. But to the underneath of that, what it looked like inside, in order to have it be mostly watertight,
Right.
And B, not have any rub. That's where all of the money went.
Oh, because they had to carve the fenders away
they had
and
to
then
carve
fill
it
it.
all inside, weld it together, fill it. Like that's
Got
where
it.
all the money went. It was really, really interesting. And it was to avoid this type of look while also having an over fender.
It's a weird thing. It's
Like Hellcat wide body Charger does this very well.
Of course.
I saw a wide body Charger on the street yesterday. I was like, yup,
looking car.
that looks great.
because that's traditional over fender. You know what this is? Over fenders normally look like they're growing from the top down. This is from the bottom up. This is like Ivy. So it's like
Over fender grass.
Over fender grass that is grown from inside the fender, and then it goes halfway up the body. It's now, to their credit, some 13-year-old kids walked by me at the parking lot, and they're like, "Cool car," and I was like, "What do you think of these fenders?" And they're like, "I think that's awesome, man."
Yeah.
I was like, "Okay, well."
You know, that's,
you can buy one for
I had a similar experience with other cars that I didn't find so attractive either. I had some kids go completely batshit over the 4-cylinder Supra. Now it was yellow and it's new, but that I was driving that car going, man, this thing sucks, and someone's pointing at me going, woo, Supra.
Okay, how much was that car? How much was that car?
$43,000.
Yeah. Wow, this is 45.
How
this
much
would
was
be
that
way
one we
faster.
Drove? How much was
and
the
more
one we
fun
drove?
than that Supra?
Oh yeah,
Oh, from
but
years
so
ago?
a bunch of shit.
What year was that? 2012.
For $45,000, bro, you're getting a Camaro SS 1LE. You're going really fast.
Yes.
You're buying cars that are not just fast in their class. You're buying cars that are like in lightning lap.
Very true.
You're buying like real cars.
Wait, did we do that in 2012?
Granted, I
or
haven't
13?
driven this thing yet. I haven't been out in this JCW. It's been with Zack the whole time. So I do think the front end finally looks like the Chinese knockoff of the first gen one. they finally reached the Chinese. It's not the right shape. The front, the regular Mini Cooper now has the same size front as the first gen Countryman.
Yeah. You can get this engine in the new Countryman also if you want 4-wheel drive.
Guilty pleasure. Remember we had that Countryman in Spring Island at my parents' place? It was pretty rad.
Yeah, it's fun.
It was. I don't have hate for the Countryman actually.
No.
But I do have hate for the 2-door Mini becoming the size of the Countryman. Like I miss the R53 sized Mini.
We had
so
this, right?
much. Yeah.
So this is the 2013.
God, even that one. Look how much better the front end is on that 2013. Oh my God.
It's a little better. I think the new one from the front, and the color this comes in is great, which is awesome because you can only get it in one color. The front with the red accents look pretty good.
How much
this
was
one's
the 2013?
39 grand.
So 39 and this is 45?
Yeah, which really isn't
The
that big a
first gen
change.
one, the 06, which in my opinion was the best one, and will probably be the most collectible. They only made 250 of them.
Damn.
I think was the best looking, and it was 39,000 in 2006.
Oh, this one.
Yes.
Yes, because that looked like a normal Mini with a little wing on the back.
With some racy stuff on it, and a rear seat delete with a fatty roll bar in it, and it was only 10 or 15 extra horsepower, but it was all this weight reduction stuff. It was cool. And I modeled my personal JCW Mini, which was not a GP. After that, I got the GP wing. I did the rear seat delete with the strut bar. I did wheels that were a little different, but looked similar. I basically went for that.
Right.
And I spec'd mine same kind of deal, like the lighter seats, the manual seats, the no sunroof, all that sort of stuff.
I mean,
But I drove one of those first-gen GPs. They were rowdy. The supercharged ones, God, that supercharged engine was so fucking good. I miss that engine. That engine,
cool
even
engine.
when I hear someone driving by, like in the canyons, that whine, it's got this beautiful pitch to the exhaust, and then this great supercharger whine, especially if you have an aftermarket intake. It just sounds amazing. I got in so much trouble driving mine.
because small cars, you feel like you can drive like an asshole, huh?
Even more than the Fiesta ST, that car in particular, because it had a little bit of BMW-ness to it, especially on first-gen ones. A little bit of BMW-ness to it, a little German engineering, but then this and this, and just really made you want to drive like a complete piece of shit. It was really, really fun.
Because if it's a cool sound, you want to hear it, and you only hear by winding it out.
Yeah.
And then when the car is small, you're really nimble, and you can scoot between cars, and you kind of feel invincible.
And I put a Sport Cat in it, which I don't know if it passed emissions or not. I was living in Connecticut at the time, and they don't have emissions for new cars, so I never had to sniff it or anything. But it was a burble, but no burble tune, not a burble tune. It was
Real.
like straight up exhaust ignition, you know, and bleeding off boost and stuff like that from the blower because I pulleyed it up and did all this other crazy shit to it. And the very first day I bought that car, on the way home from the dealership, it had 6 miles on it, and I got a ticket for 94 and a 50. On the way home from the dealership. Unbelievable.
They're fun, man. It does make you feel like you can get away with that stuff. And this thing is fucking quick.
You mentioned in our text conversation last night, because we're talking about what road we're going to go film on tomorrow, that the gearing is too long for the tight roads. What's that about?
I think it's just probably an efficiency thing to get MPGs, you know, nowadays. The same reason the front of this is huge. It's probably for crash standards.
Yeah, pedestrians or whatever.
Like pedestrian stuff.
Yeah.
The transmission just feels it's an 8-speed. And I was on a medium tight canyon. In second gear, if I wound it out, felt like I was going way too fast. In third, I'd be going even faster. So it just, that takes away from some of the like manic small road,
this
like
thing's
the B
geared
road
like
thing.
a Cayman GT4. That'd be hilarious.
That would be. It feels like it's geared for a road course where it would probably go real fast and scare the shit out of you. But for me, these cars are great for small B roads, like Miata roads, stuff like that. And it just, I don't know. I'm gonna experience it more tomorrow. I haven't driven it that hard yet, but first glimpse was like, it just felt a little tall. But I know they do that because they have to get efficiency, but it's a bummer with this.
And it might be better matched with like a medium, you know, cars that have that early turbo shove and then a fat mid-range and then it dies up top, where they don't say this, but you're really supposed to be short shifting at like the high fives, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes those benefit, like long gearing benefits that. Like the long gearing everybody complains about in Cayman GT4 works absolutely brilliantly in the 911 Carrera S. It's the same. The gearing is the same.
Wow.
But because you've got a turbo shove mid-range where you're really kind of shifting it the mid to high sixes instead of winding it out to 8 and 8 and a quarter or whatever that engine is, it's just better matched up, and so you're not complaining about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
If like as long as peak torque happens and peak horsepower happen in sort of this right places, you know.
Yeah.
It does make it less fun.
Yeah.
Like if you have a low, like that's the Supra, the 4-cylinder Supra, you can make work of it. Like I was bitching about it, but like, okay, if you program your mind and go, look, I got to drive this thing between 2,200 and 5,400,
yeah,
you can go fast doing that. You're optimizing it, but like, kind of fucking sports cars that? You just spent all that money to keep the engine at under 5,400? Like,
well, think of
diesel.
Your average person that goes to do a test drive that isn't like an enthusiast driver. They want to feel that shove and feel that power.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
Is when you optimize for the test drive.
Right.
It's how cars got too stiff.
Yeah, totally.
They're finally starting to fix this, but cars got too stiff because stiff to a normal person means sporty.
And you can only drive it 3 blocks on a test drive. You go, wow, this is a race car. And then, you know, that's like Tom Segura told us, man.
Yeah.
You know?
I drove Tom's E63. It's got a Rentec tune on it. And
I love Rentec.
It makes the craziest... What did you do to your lap?
I sat on the wire.
You kind of fucked it up a little bit there. It makes the craziest noises. That car makes... just about, I think I have a photo on the gram. That car makes just about every noise that you would want a car to make. It makes the V8 noise, the bark.
Yeah.
It makes a blow-off-y noise, a Fast and the Furious noise. It has an intake-y kind of whoosh. And then it has this weird noise, this little psst that it does when you change gears. And I'm not really sure what it is, but it sounds cool as fuck.
Recirculating blow-off, maybe?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Not sure. Makes cool sound. That car makes every good sound. All in one.
Do you think AMG makes the best sounding cars right now? Like, do they know sound better than anybody?
Well, they certainly make the best sounding of any of those 4-liter twin-turbo engines. There's, you know, of any, and I know BMW is a 4.4, but
and I don't think, and I'm not trying to say like which cars sound the best because different cylinders. It's like they seem to nail, like you're just pointing out, lots of different aspects of the acoustic experience of cars.
Yeah,
they always
that car,
have. I
well,
feel
and
like.
they usually get it right.
Yeah.
They usually do get it right. Ford we can talk about the 500.
Yeah.
Ford got this one right too. I'm pretty sure there's no speakers involved in the sound
you
of
don't
this
need 'em.
vehicle, but the sound of this vehicle, even though you go from the flat plane crank back to the cross plane crank, you do get the heads from the 350. And so everyone was talking about the crank when the 350 came out because it makes the sound so much different.
Yeah.
But the real amazing thing, the real thing that helped it rev as high as it did was the heads. And so when you run a supercharger, you can't rev the blower that high, but so the red line is lower. And so when you lower the red line, you lose the benefits of that flat plane crank. So you go back to the cross plane crank for other reasons. But it still spins to 7,500. I mean, with the blower on it.
That's a ton.
And so and you've got this dual clutch, which is crazy. I mean, so to get in a Mustang and spin the knob, and press M, and have all of that power, and not just all the power, because Hellcats and Camaro ZL1 1LEs have the power. With the Mustang, it's different. With the Mustang, you've got a dual overhead cam engine. It's revier. You've got a little more of that precision. But I talk a lot about in videos about like Mustang horsepower versus like Porsche horsepower. Like Porsche has like less drivetrain loss, so feel like it makes better use of 450 horsepower or whatever. So if you line up a 450 horsepower Porsche and a 450 horsepower Mustang, the Porsche is going to house that thing. This is, I mean, it's still high 3,000 pound type car, but this feels like less drivetrain loss than I've ever. I mean, this thing.
Wow.
This thing is like, it is. It's really rocking. I mean, obviously the lack of a manual is disappointing, but like, I don't think I'd prefer a manual to this gearbox. I mean, I like the 350 with a manual. That's really well matched. This is like almost too fast.
Well, the GT2 RS doesn't have a manual anymore, right? Like that's the company we're in right now.
Yeah.
Which this revs to 7,500. How many other cars, period, rev above that on sale today? Is it like
not a lot
cars?
for this amount of money.
I mean, even in general, like that's really high.
Yeah, and so it's 760 horsepower and 625 torque.
Jesus.
And it's you bang off shifts, crazy fast.
This is supposed to be really fast.
This Tremec gearbox, for years the argument against dual clutches is they can't hold the power. They can't hold the power, right? That's why all these fast Jaguars and all this other stuff and all these other supercharged V8s have been using automatics, right? It's because, they can't hold the power. Well, here's a dual clutch that holds more power and torque than the PDK in the GT2 RS.
Wow.
And, I mean, I didn't drive very much with it in automatic, like, fast, so I don't necessarily know about its like predictive shifting and stuff like that. It's fine as an auto, but like in the city or whatever, as a manual, it's rad. I mean, it's really, 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 really responsive. If the revs exist between where you are and the red line, you will get the gear.
Wow.
Even if there's one extra at the top, you'll get the gear.
Wow.
It's very fast up and down. I've doubted kind of for a long time the ability. I also thought when they weren't using dual clutches in these muscle cars that the engines couldn't rev fast enough to keep up with that. This engine can. I mean, this is really something pretty different. And I went with Segura, and we switched with his. So, obviously his $150,000 E63 with the carbon pack and the bucket seats. So, it feels more expensive to the touch. Mm-hmm. But if you put a passenger in either car, blindfolded them, this thing is the Shelby is way more like an AMG than it is like a Mustang GT.
Wow.
I mean, the gearbox completely changes the game because now we're at the kind of sensations, you know, because it's not just power, it's power with, you know,
precision.
Power associated with the kind of precision that I really associate with much more expensive metal.
Well, because AMGs are like, they are the it's where muscle cars meet Porsche to me, right? And so now you have that, only it's just coming from Ford.
I mean, if you know, the stuff you touch is still Mustang, right? It's still, you know, the seats were fantastic.
Driving experience, though,
driving experience. So, and you know, there wasn't, you know, the thing about the Mustang, all of the Mustangs are, if you look at a car like the Cayman GT4 or the BMW M2 or let's just use those examples.
Ford Windstar.
Ford Windstar. It feels like you took a chassis and a powertrain and an interior, and then you kind of sucked the body around it as tight as it'll go. It's very taut. So taut that like the wheels bulge out. You know what I mean?
Right. Short overhangs, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Mustangs feel like you took that M2 and shoved a pump in it and went thump, 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 and filled it full of air. It feels like in between the wheels and all this stuff, there's air, and it could be tighter around it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so that's where the Mustanginess comes from, right? Seats, Recaro, fantastic. Steering wheel, you know, going back to back with an AMG, the steering wheel's basically the same. They use the suede covered, you know, aluminum, all this stuff. Like, that's nice, you know. And it's a Mustang, so it's totally functional, daily driver, like smooth. It rides nice, you know, adjustable suspension.
Doesn't ride too stiff. Like,
Nah, actually, it's good. It was fine. Normal mode, fine. Yeah, no. I mean, it's firm, given the performance, but it's not horrible, not abusive. The only thing, mine didn't have the carbon fiber wheels. That's optional.
Okay.
18 Gs. Having driven the 350R makes a big difference. It's so much unsprung weight, so much rotational weight. I might have to beg Jason for down the road to try one with the carbon wheels just to see. But even without it, bro.
wow.
Mobbing. So I mean, you're going so fast. I think I wrote on Instagram. It's not just speeding. It's for like really obscene speeding.
I mean, because this is supercar performance. Like, that's real. It really, really is.
It's so fast.
Now, how did this feel compared
There's
to?
no way this thing doesn't do 200 miles an hour. There's no fucking way this thing won't go.
Well, no, because if the old GT500 with 100 horsepower less did
weirdo one that like it's in some downwind, you know, downhill.
but it was still close, and it was 100 horsepower down. This or ZR1, how do those feel?
Well, the ZR1, what's amazing about it is when you're just kind of chilling up to 5, 6, 7 tenths, it feels pretty normal and fine and good, right? You get it with a stick and it's cool and it's a Corvette. It just goes like pretty fast, right? When you really start to go and you're like threshold braking and, man, you know, really going fast, it's a lot to be driving with one hand. You know, you really, when you're going that fast, like, I realize there's some people that are either so skilled or so macho that they're going, Matt, you fucking bitch. But like, this is how I see it. I can't keep up with one hand on the wheel with a 750 horsepower car. So I think Ford's product positioning here is good. Like, oh, you said this versus ZR1?
Do you feel like one is more usable around town? Which one feels more motorsporty?
The ZR1 is just as much a regular Corvette as this is a regular Mustang when you need it to be.
Cool.
Equivalent product positioning. This is easier to deal with a little bit.
Well, it's got a bigger greenhouse, right?
The ZR1's hood takes up like half the windshield.
Because the
this
roof
has
is
a pretty
low.
big bulge too. But the ZR1 is like, you're literally blocking, like, they block a comical. You look at cars that did that kind of shit in the 70s, you go, they'll never do that again.
Yeah, it's ram hair. Yeah, totally, dude.
But no, I mean, this was, in all the ways you needed it to be a regular Mustang, it's a regular Mustang. And then in all the ways you want it to be obnoxiously fast and loud, it's obnoxiously fast and loud. It's very, very fun to drive. I mean, I have no qualms with this thing dynamically. I mean, it's as good as this platform could possibly be.
Wow.
You know? I mean, I'm sure there's a couple little nitpicks in the video, but like fundamentally, this thing is just just bananas. It's so crazy.
Does it feel basically, blindfold on like the GT350, but with more power, or have they changed other things about it?
Yeah. No, it's definitely it feels every bit as manageable and predictable and drivable as the 350, but it's so much power. I think their product positioning is good. It's like the GT2 or maybe like the Turbo S or something like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas your 350 is your 911 GT3, and those cars are really well paired for the gearboxes they come with. There's people that'll be bitchy about this thing not having a manual. I doubt most of them have any intention of really driving it fast.
Yeah.
And if you went out and tried to drive it really fast, I think you'd have a hard time. I mean, to a point, it would be fine.
This is
to a point. It's
300
fine.
more horsepower than IMSA cars have. Like this is people. I know there are people that have. Let's see. No one has sold, or not very often, a car that makes this much power with a manual transmission in the history of time. The cars that have made this much power,
Zonda R,
and been this fast are race cars. This is
true.
Can-Am shit. Like that's what we're talking about.
Production manual cars pretty much stopped in the high fives.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would be. What was I watching? I was watching Shift Talkers at Glucker's show on Motor Trend, and someone asked like, what's the best car for burnouts? And someone said, Hellcat. And then I think, was it you maybe? You were like, it should be a manual transmission instead. It's like at a certain point when there's so much power, it doesn't really matter. But the only reason that you could possibly want this car with a manual is like if you are either a former Can-Am driver, and then hats off to you, or you want to be able to, that's not good.
Oh, our GoPro just died?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Or you want to be able to do clutch drops, which you won't need because it has 750 horsepower anyway.
But it's plugged in. WTF. So it's okay. All is better with the kitten. So anyway, the GT500 is pretty freaking extraordinary, and I think I think it might win the muscle car war for the time being. ZL1 1LE, very impressive. Mm-hmm. On track, amazing. Beat it on it hard all day at VIR. The way Lee drove it was very impressive. But then when I got on the road, it just beat me up so badly. Those race shocks, it tram-lined, it bounced.
It didn't have mag ride, right?
It did not. It uses those crazy multi-matic shocks.
Oh, right, because if you want the mag ride on the ZL1, shocks. You have to get
the regular ZL1. Yeah, the 1LE. So this had a better ride. This was easier to use. This didn't dart around, whereas that did. And Hellcats,
this will smoke a Hellcat on the road.
It'll smoke a Hellcat. Hellcats are hilarious. Yeah. They're great for what they are. They look cool. The wide body is an improvement.
Yeah.
But ultimately, they are really stretching the legs of a very old platform.
Yes.
The Corvette, same thing. The dual clutch gearbox really changes the game on how that car feels in terms of how exotic it feels.
Mm-hmm. But it's always been in a slightly different camp.
Right.
It's almost like the pony cars are moving into territory that was previously owned by Corvette, and Corvette is moving into territory that was owned by exotics.
Yeah, there you go. And I think this gearbox changes it to beyond normal Mustang stuff in the way that the flat plane crank in the other car makes that feel like more of an exotic engine than just a regular Mustang engine.
Yeah.
It
sounded like Ripley was detecting aliens.
I don't know. There's we're at the beach. There's gonna be some weirdness going by. What
else did I have written down? Anything?
What else? I've been riding this Ducati, which is interesting, and I'm gonna film it tomorrow. It's the that's not a great picture. It is the Ducati Scrambler Desert Sled. So the Scrambler, I thought it was the cheapest Ducati. It's actually not the cheapest Ducati. The smallest engined Monsters, the Monster like 740 whatever, and the cheapest Motard are actually cheaper than this thing.
Oh, okay.
This thing's like $12,000, which Ducatis you know, you can get into a very fast motorcycle for a relatively small amount of money. But I was always was there a fin under there? Or was that you? There's
That's
a
me.
cat under there. The Ducatis have always been surprised at how affordable the entry level models are. Like the monsters start at like $9,000.
Get you started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This thing is about 12, and so there's 4 versions of the Scrambler. The Icon, which I rode last year, and that's just sort of a traditional kind of upright motorcycle. It's nice. There's the Full Throttle, which is the flat track style.
Okay.
The Cafe Racer, which is that style, and then the Desert Sled, which is this. So this is sort of takes after the style of 60s and 70s Southern California bikes. It's basically the Safari 911 of motorcycles.
It's like an old school dirt bike.
Right. It's like this style. It's like it's not a dirt bike in term. It's a multi-use bike, like street and dirt. But it's in the 60s and 70s. It was a style where they would take a Honda CB500 or something like that, and sort of raise it, stretch it a little bit, knobbies, and put a skid pan on it. And that skid pan is where you get the name Desert Sled, right? Because it's sled, right?
Right.
So, what's cool about it is I didn't take it off-road because I'm a pussy. Is it's a little taller. So for tall riders, it's actually quite nice. It's comfortable. It's 73 horsepower and 50 pound-feet of torque. It's 460 pounds wet. But it's fun for the city. It's got what was it, something like that? Oh. It's got nice long travel. Shocks. It's got pretty good brakes. But like, I'm gonna make a video with this thing tomorrow, and I'm fucking nervous. Honestly.
Talking while riding, or just?
I'm gonna try and talk while riding. I'm gonna do some voiceover. I might do a little stand-up. But I'm just like not. Like, I'm not bad at riding. I'm fine at riding. But like I say, I'm an experienced rider in the same way a cab driver is an experienced driver. I've ridden thousands of miles around the city. Mm-hmm. I'm not race bike guy. I'm not like crazy canyon, full level leather knee dragger guy.
But I don't think you need that for this bike. And I've watched some motorcycle reviews, like Fortnite. Have you seen that channel? The guy does a great job. It's like amazing, really clever stuff. But his reviews, it's not like stunt riding really fast stuff. It's just about the bike and what it can do and what's good and bad and the riding experience of it. And like, that's much more important, especially with something that is a dual purpose motorcycle. Like,
yeah, I'm not gonna go on dirt. Honestly, I'm afraid of. One of the things about me and motorcycles is they fucking scare me. They're supposed to.
Right.
But like, there's people that don't have the fear. There's people that have where their skill, has beaten the fear down, or where their line is further than mine, or whatever the fuck. And there's people who have done dirt and are good at dirt and whatever. Like, dude, a day out of the hospital is a good day for me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I went, I did, and I looked at my fucking photo album. It has been almost 13 months between this motorcycle and my last proper motorcycle, not counting my scooter.
Yeah.
And I ride a lot on my scooter, but like, it's just to go from a Vespa to a tall motorcycle is a completely different thing.
You can feel the ground, you can feel the center of gravity being higher. Like scooters, they feels like the center of gravity is on the ground, basically. Like they feel, like a punch me clown nimble, where they can't really tip over, really nimble, easy to ride. It's like a golf cart.
With this, I'm like pushing the bars going, oh my God, it's like so hard to lean this thing down. It really took me probably 70 or 80 real miles of riding, not, to be comfortable on this thing. And it's not a hard bike to ride. Timmy took it for a ride. He was comfortable in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But for me, it's just getting back in that groove after a year, and it took a while. So I think it'll be fine. Like, I had a nice canyon run on Sunday. It was great. But I'm not gonna be blowing anyone away with my knee dragging, I don't think.
I don't think anyone is supposed to be dragging knees on this bike.
I don't know. Corey was like,
someone could.
Corey was like, you want to go do wheelies?
Corey wants to do wheelies with everything, but he only got his knee down for the first time at the track last weekend, so don't think that he would do that with everything. Yeah, you don't need to do that. Just ride it and talk about how it feels, I guess.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool looking bike. It's like, yeah, it's that weird throwback 70s style. Like I like the Super Motard, it looks better, but this is, you described it perfectly. It's a safari motorcycle.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like an upright urban bike that you can take off-road. It's got the same kind of styling cues like my Safari 911 has. It's got like these guards on the front forks, like these mudguardy kind of things. Skid plates, blacked out exhaust.
It's probably
it's neat.
more stiffly sprung than a dirt bike, but it's softer than a street bike. So it's like that nice riding kind of.
So if you
like
hit speed bumps and stuff, and it's cool. But you know, it's with the power it's got and the fact that there's no windshield of any kind, it's really good up to about 80.
Yeah.
At 80, you are hanging on for dear life. You know, unless if you tuck on it, like okay, but like if you're upright and trying to ride at 80, you're like hanging on and like
yeah, it's like standing in a hurricane, holding onto a playground.
So
no, you don't do that. You go inside.
Yeah, but I really enjoyed my ride with it on Saturday morning. It was great fun, and I think the video will be okay. It's just not going to be, you know, it's not going to be like a impressive display of
Well, I think
dynamics.
you're used to driving fast in videos because you're good at that and you're good at talking while doing it, and so you just remove that expectation from your brain of yourself. You know, you don't have to do that.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the Scrambler. This is more like
the flat
cafe
track one. That's the flat track one.
And it's a very good looking bike and it's
It
kind of
is.
trim.
They all have different kind of exhausts, different wheel designs, but they're all the same engine. I'm riding the 1100 in August.
Scrambler 11.
Yeah, this is an 800. So the 1100 has like, I think it's
More power, baby.
like 120 horsepower. It's got more.
That's a lot.
And they were like, "Would you like
That's
to
a
get on
lot.
the Street Fighter V4? It's 200 horsepower." I was like, "No,
Yeah.
actually, I actually don't.
So fast.
I don't want to at all."
I was talking to someone. They said that I think that was that bike where the power though is like they hit that number in the top 200 RPM, but the rest of it feels like a little more manageable.
That's possible.
So
it's definitely
it's
possible.
still a fuck ton. I mean, that's what Honda Civic Si horsepower.
Yeah, it's just crazy.
It's really
just
crazy.
too much. It's just. I mean, I am sure there's a way to work yourself up to that, but I don't really have a desire to.
No, yeah.
I don't really enjoy going fast enough to scare myself on a motorcycle. I know there's people who do enjoy that, but I don't.
What about Panigale? Put you on one of these things?
Nah. I could. No, I'd be hurt in 2 seconds. But I really like the feeling of being on a motorcycle, like between 30 and 65. That's great. I'm really happy in that zone.
It is a very unique feeling. Like the whole, you're out, you can smell the environment around you. You feel like you're doing something by yourself, even though you are being propelled by a machine. Whereas in a car, I feel like you're almost along for the, like you're piloting the car, but you're only doing it because engineers built this thing around you. And you're like part of the. You're in this pod.
You're transferring your weight. Yeah. I mean, you really are.
And there's less risk with a car, and I think the risk has something to do with a motorcycle. Like it's you are exposed and doing this activity with that exposure.
And you can really only be doing that activity. I mean, I know there's people who ride with Bluetooth headsets and whatnot, but I don't intentionally. And I don't want distractions. I want to be doing. It's part of. That's part of what I really like about it. It's like phone off. You know. This is the activity.
Totally.
Right now.
Yeah, you can't check your phone. Apparently there's an off-road riding school out by Pahrump. Like you can do like learn to trail ride safely.
If you could guarantee I wouldn't fall
Can't
over,
do that.
that's the problem.
Nope, that's
I
on
really
you.
just like walking a lot and having the ability to walk.
Yeah, that's fair.
I've already rolled too many dice in my stupid back. I don't care that. There's going to be people that are going to find all kind of notes to write me about why I should do this and that. I don't want to. I'm doing exactly the amount of motorcycling that I want to be doing is the amount that I'm doing.
Because it's a very risky thing. Like at any speed, you can get really hurt.
I ride terrified all the time.
It's a good way to do it.
Constantly terrified.
Yeah. I still want to do trail riding at some point.
It seems fun.
But I have zero interest in street stuff.
It looks so cool on videos. And I don't see why I couldn't ride some basic trails. Maybe if I did a little mountain biking. Hello, wife. maybe if I did a little mountain biking, you know, and got that under me or something, I could get down with it. But like,
I would definitely start there because
yeah,
I think a lot of that applies.
Just seems like a real good way to fuck myself up.
I thought I'd be good at dirt biking the few times I did it because I'd done a lot of mountain biking, and then the first time I was trying to climb a hill and the bike slowed down and I couldn't just like move it how I wanted. I was like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
I was like, "A lot right now, so you better pay the fuck attention." And then it tipped over, and I stalled the thing out, and I was like, "I don't know what I'm doing."
Yeah.
It's suddenly very heavy when it's not going your way.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this weighs 400 pounds.
Yeah.
Shit.
It looks so cool when other people do it.
It
but
does.
I know what that first little bit of learning curve is, and I don't want to fuck myself up getting through it.
Do you know who Bradley Slums is? Have you seen?
No. Who's that?
Bradley Slums is a motocross rider, sort of. He has invented a new activity. It's base jumping off a motorcycle.
Oh.
And the motorcycle has its own parachute also.
Why, yeah, because I can imagine this would get very expensive.
Right. So this is him
fuck.
going off a sand dune that's like hundreds of feet tall.
Yeah, I've seen
And then
this.
pulls the chute.
I've seen this video. So is the bike then on like a string
Yeah.
that like deploys when
That
your
deploys
chute
the
deploys?
chute. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So I was watching him, he went to a hill climb and he like did a demo where he rode off the top of the hill on a jump and then pulled the chute like in South Dakota.
Yeah.
And everyone at the bottom was like, "Oh my God." And then
That's
he
so
rode
awesome.
up the hill on a bike he'd never ridden, and it was like one of those hill climb bikes that has a snowmobile engine,
Yeah.
super fast. And he rode all the way to the top perfectly. It's like, that's how good you have to be.
Yeah.
So to your point, like, people make it look easy. The guy that makes it look easy is so good, he started jumping off of the cliffs and pulling a chute. Like, that's how good you have to be to go
No,
up
I
the
know.
hill.
Yeah, no, I'm not beating myself up over it, but most people that I just feel weird. Like I feel like, I feel like I'm kind of qualified to talk about cars. I'm less qualified to talk about bikes. Like I researched it. I've ridden a pretty okay amount of bikes. I've probably ridden 25 different bikes, but like that's not that many. And so I just am a little insecure about like, am I qualified to like tell people about this thing? Like even when I started with cars, even if I like started making videos, I kind of knew like a lot already. I feel like I did.
Well, you read
Maybe
a
I
lot of
didn't.
magazines.
Yeah, and I worked in a bunch of places with them. Like I'm not, like I can ride around, but like that's really it. And so I don't know.
You should call Zach Bowman or
Yeah.
Sam. Either of them, like, because they ride a lot.
Yeah, that would be tough advice. Sam Smith is tough advice.
Then don't call him. Call Zach. But like Zach would, I think, have good advice on how do you review a bike when you don't ride all the time.
Yeah.
Like, he's smart. Like it's
Yeah.
about the experience, not the 0 to 60 time.
If I was writing, I wouldn't worry about it at all. It's doing it on video.
True.
I've never attempted to speak while riding on two wheels ever. There's not another person to talk to. I've never tried to talk.
Right.
What if your first time ever trying to talk while driving a car to anybody was to a camera trying to
oral
review?
dictation.
How do you do that? You've never spoken to anyone while doing this activity, and now
I'm gonna let you edit this video.
Right?
It's gonna be complicated.
It's so fucking horrible. I have to call Ducati people like, listen, I tried, but this is garbage.
Hey man, they knew what they were doing when they gave you the bike. They knew what you did. Like I do a lot of car stuff. Like here's a motorcycle.
A lot of years since we had to break out that they knew what we were doing.
Right.
We told
Last
them
time
what
was
we
all
were
cars
doing.
too.
Yeah.
We
We talked about last show, like, I think briefly we mentioned doing a GoFundMe or something for all cars. We had about 12 very enthusiastic people. That was
okay. Well, if each of them has $7,000,
Yeah.
then we're in business.
We're perfect.
Are they all oil shakes?
I
That'd
hope
be great.
one of them was.
Okay. Hey, you know what? Actually, all we need is him.
Yeah, right. Sponsored by what exactly?
Oh, I had a question. I was just talking about somebody with this. So Jason Camisa put up a post that was like, it was a joke. It was like, oh look, these are the new M4, and it has the big grills, and if you don't pay it's like if you don't pay BMW subscription, they'll put the small grills back on.
Subscription.
Right.
Yeah.
It was and I think the joke is better if you flip it, where you get the good-looking small grill, but if you
Yeah.
don't pay your bill, then they bring the big one. But do you think we'll ever see a day where they could brick or stop your car from moving if you are behind on payments?
Yes.
Like they have the tech, they could do that right now probably with the technology.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know if they would brick the car entirely, but they could absolutely fuck with it and take away features and do all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, OnStar has been able to turn your car on for 8 years,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
At least. You're like,
Yeah.
I lost my keys, here's my social, and they turn it on for you.
Yeah.
I don't know, I'm surprised that hasn't become a thing where
think
instead
there's-
of repo people, it's just, they just turn the car off.
I think that's possible. I think if you were to buy a connected vehicle from a manufacturer and then you were to go through that manufacturer's financing, if they own the financing also, I
Right.
suppose it's possible.
Yeah.
I think there might be, I mean, I am clearly talking out of my ass at this point. There might be a law against that. There might be a law against remote disabling of a vehicle for someone who's behind payments.
Maybe because in case there's like an emergency or
Yeah.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to know.
Yeah.
I just,
Now, that's not to say tracking and repossession per se, but and certainly limiting of features. You know.
that would be the funniest thing if they're like, no, air conditioning doesn't work. And you're like, and then you hit the button and they're like, you owe
Yeah.
4,200.
Yes.
And they're like, what? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm sweating. They're like, yes, you are.
Thumbprint for authentication
Right.
of funds. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. It's another slippery slope that ends somewhere.
But I bet it ends there.
Yeah,
Or
I mean,
goes past there.
there seemed to be a lot of blowback off of BMW's suggestion that some features should be subscription based.
Which I mean, I agree with that. I think it was really expensive for a feature, and the subscription service of it, I just think it's obnoxious. Like you buy
Yeah.
the car, just pay a flat fee, and then you own that feature for the rest of the time you own the car. Same thing with when
And if
you resell a Tesla.
If you sell the car to someone else, the feature stays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
When Tesla was taking them away for when you resold it, that seems like horseshit. It just seems like horseshit.
Yeah.
I don't know, whether you take the fucking door handles off, like it just. And I get that they have the power to do it. So once that thing is created, that system is invented, they're going to go, wow, what can we do with this new system?
Yeah.
And they did that, and everyone got really mad, and they shouldn't do that.
The
just
system
offensive.
itself doesn't go back in the box. The systems, they find a new way
Yeah.
to use that system that's less immediately offensive.
Just make it cheaper.
Yeah, no, I mean, or other features that get taken away aren't the $7,000 autopilot.
Yeah, it's just rear seatbelts.
Yeah, I guess they're taking away the ludicrous mode, which is crazy because ludicrous mode is a thing where you got a different badge on the car.
Right.
The badge had like the red line on it if it was ludicrous mode.
If you buy a used Hellcat and
Yeah.
then you
And you
sell
only
it
got
and then
the black-
Dodge, they turn off the red key.
Yeah,
like
that would be a good equivalent.
Yeah,
exactly.
it's just unfair.
Oh, second owner, you only get the black key.
Right.
You want the red key? That's another 10 Gs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just fucked up.
I
don't like
so
it.
crazy. I'm not about that.
No.
Adventure Drives is coming up. I'm a little nervous about it because pandemic is getting worse and
It's pandemic season. What are you wearing?
pandemic season. But I'm still really excited to get out of LA for 2 weeks, and I'm going to use all the precautions. And most of the time, we're going to be either in a car or outside in open spaces. So I'm not doing the trip so I can go to states that have open bars.
Right.
And visit the bars. That's not why we're doing that. So.
Yeah.
And we can't go into Canada, obviously. So it's Washington and Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, and then we're driving back down through Utah afterwards in the Lamborghini Urus. I think there's a couple spots left. If anyone's trying to do that right now.
I think you're going to have a wide variety of attentiveness by which the hotel staff give cleaning your hotel room.
Well, we're staying in what are supposed to be very high-end hotels. So even in these, in some of these, I think we're going to like Spokane and like Whitefish, Montana. We're staying in like some of the best hotels in these areas. So
just buy some
Yeah.
JF had to travel for work. He drove everywhere. He drove from California to New York 2 days ago, and they had spray and hand sanitizer. When they got to a hotel room, they sprayed the things they'll touch, and that's what they're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's what you can do.
Right.
I mean, it is what it is. I can't. I'm not visiting old people or children. I'm not going to bars. I'm not going to restaurants. But I can't do another, especially because West Side's going to open like pretty soon, and I won't be able to go anywhere for a little while. I gotta go somewhere for a little bit. So road trip to outdoor beautiful areas, with my wife in a car with a lot of sanitizer and masks. You know.
I'm going backpacking in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna find out if squirrels have coronavirus, because that's what I'll be near.
Camping is a good thing to do. Yeah.
But
I hear RV sales are like through the roof
I bet.
now. Everybody wants an RV right now.
It's genius. The RV people have been waiting for this, not intentionally, but like every time I drive by, you know those huge lots you drive by, and there's 4,800 RVs, and it's like sale forever, because the depreciation is insane on this like plastic shed on wheels.
Yeah.
And now they're like, finally.
But now it's the high end ones. Now it's like the ones that go
expansion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Marble floors, all that craziness.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane when you look at the really high end stuff, what it looks like inside
Yeah.
the race trailer.
Yeah.
And those people show up and like take up 2 spots. Like, ooh.
The gentleman drivers always have the best trailers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call that a show.
Good show.
Tomorrow for us, Thursday for you guys listening, Alana Shear of Everywhere. She writes for everybody and does everything. She's going to be joining us over Zoom.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. And we're going to go film those things in the morning, so we might have more to talk about that. Thank you for joining us. Subscribe to our video channel, the Smoking Tire Podcast. That's about
Subscribe.
it.
Watch for new shirts on blipshift.com/TST. Make sure you hit the alarm bell on both those subscriptions so you actually get notified when a new video comes up, because YouTube's subscription button is just for show, apparently.
Use the subscription button to show something
Interest.
for advertisers, and then you have to actually hit the alarm bell to know when we put things up.
It's 2 keys for the nuclear
It's weird.
code.
It's a red key and the black key. It
doesn't make sense.
All right. That's it. We're powered by Shout Engine. Get your own podcast at shoutengine.com. It's easy. All you need is a microphone. Clearly, as we demonstrate, literally all you need is a microphone, a connection to the internet, and ideally something to say. Bye.